In so many places these days, I've seen responses from people about the death of George Floyd, about the experience of Christian Cooper, and about the death of Ahmaud Arbery. And some of those concerns, there's also Breonna Taylor has been more recently, there's some of those concerns bring up questions about racism and about anti-racism work especially. What can we do? What can we do as people of faith who are concerned about our neighbor and concerned about the experiences that people of color in this country may have? My first statement is to say this is not just something that you can be involved in this weekend as you're hearing about this. It's something that must be on your sort of mental radar at many different times, maybe at all times, because that is the experience of people of color in this country. At all times, they are forced to realize that the experience they could have in the next 5 minutes might be one of police brutality, might be one of a neighbor deciding that they look threatening enough that they go after them, of them being mistaken for somebody who may have done a crime. So many different angles, and I can't even begin to name them all, but so many different angles where a person of color does not have the choice to sort of put that away until the community gets agitated again. They live it every single day. So when we're thinking about how to be anti-racist, it's important that we aren't just sporadically engaged in this struggle. Just what can we do now? What can we do to protest George Floyd's death? What can we do to protest Minneapolis police? The point is that we have to be engaged in what can we do to make this world a better place. And there are really hard lessons that we have to learn that I simply can't go into here. There are really hard questions we have to ask ourselves. I am not foolish enough to imagine that I can name all of them, that I could even sit down for you with for an hour and have some deep involved conversation that will somehow open your eyes and mine. I realize that this is an ongoing struggle. I also think one of the most important things we can do is to listen to the experiences and the stories of people of color around us. Not to listen so we can add in our own story of where we were wronged, but merely to listen. I believe if you listen to enough of those stories, you will see some common threads in those conversations. You will see things that you really didn't believe could possibly be part of the way this society works, and yet it feels like a common enough thread that it's very familiar to people of color. I hope that you'll do some self-educating. A few of you have gotten really into reading during this pandemic time. I myself have been quite distracted and it's kind of hard to sit and focus on a book. So I haven't done as good of a job with that as I'd like to. If you're reading, there are long lists of things that we can read in order to be more educated on the topic of racial justice, more helpful on that topic, and to be more engaged in the important questions of justice that are everyday, ongoing, again, not just this week because we see protesters and demonstrators in the streets, but every week, every day. I pray that you would be able to hold on to the hope of the gospel in the midst of that. It's very disheartening to hear the pain of people who have gone through such difficulties and who do that every day. Just let the story speak to you. If you have something within you that says, no, but that's not what they meant, keep that to yourself for a while. Just sit with that. If you have discomfort or even well, I didn't do that to you. Please just sit with the story, sit with the reality. You are witnessing another person's experience, and it's important to let that speak to you, and not to try and fix that narrative for that person. I am prayerful that hope will be yours, that justice can invade, as the Holy Spirit does, into our world. Peace be with all of you.